Hello there and welcome to Dreamy Minds. Imagine the soft underside of a leaf, cradling dew before morning knows it's arrived. That's the subconscious, the quiet mind below the noisy one. It has no urgency, no calendar, no need to explain itself. We often think of the mind as only what we can hear, the talking brain, the naming brain, the planner. But just as the stars are there even when the sun outshines them, there is a mind beneath the mind, always glowing softly, always watching. Right now, as you rest here listening, some part of you already knows how to feel calm. It remembers childhood lullabies, the rhythm of breath rocking you to sleep, the trusting silence of your first long dreams. It knows how your heart feels in moments of safety. It knows what peace sounds like. Sleep doesn't come when called like a dog. It drifts toward us like mist across water. The more we chase it, the more we stir the surface. But when we understand the mind beneath, the subconscious currents of emotion, memory, instinct, and pattern, sleep finds us a little easier. This is not a lecture. This is a slow remembering. In this story, we will gently explore the secret, silent architecture of the subconscious mind, the place where your dreams are born, where old memories stir like dust in sunlight, where symbols replace sentences, and where story becomes science without needing explanation. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply human, with a beautiful sea of experience layered quietly beneath you. Let's go there now. Softly. Let your breathing slow now, gently matching the tempo of waves touching sand. Perhaps you've felt it before, a feeling rising in you that has no clear name. It catches you between thoughts, surprises you in a quiet moment, an ache, or a tenderness, or a sudden sensation of warmth or fear, as if from another time. This is where we begin, not with thoughts, but with roots. Long before we could speak, before we knew what the word comfort meant, or how to describe things like safety or love, we still felt them. Somewhere in the earliest folds of your memory, nestled beyond reach of deliberate recall, there is a quiet garden. It was planted not with intention, but through experience. 1,000 tender impressions, a sound here, a warm hand there, a sudden absence, a soothing voice, or a door closing too hard, all gently laying down the earliest emotional soil beneath your conscious mind. This garden grew before you had words. It remembers things you don't. And it's still blooming quietly in the background of your life. Close your eyes, if they aren't already closed. Let your attention drift behind the thoughts, to where images flicker and dissolve. There, beneath the spoken world, lives the subconscious, and within it lives the limbic system, a small, ancient part of the brain, nestled deep in the center like a stone in a river. Emotion, memory, safety, pattern. These are its languages. It does not speak in linear thought or logic or polished speech. Instead, it hums in feelings, in instinct, in wordless knowing, in the flutter of the heart when something feels off, even if you can't explain why. From the moment we enter this world, the limbic system is already listening, absorbing, imprinting experience onto the body like rain softening roots underground. The nervous system begins to learn, long before the mind can think. Is the world safe? Is love consistent? Will I be held if I cry or ignored? Is stillness calming or threatening? None of these answers come in sentences. They arrive instead in patterns, in repetition, in tone and gesture and touch. And so the garden grows. Imagine now that your earliest days were a season, spring, summer, perhaps winter. Whatever weather surrounded you, the garden responded. If warmth was offered steadily, your nervous system wove it into the soil. If love was unpredictable, it became a wind the garden braced against. If fear was frequent, the roots coiled tighter, learning to make themselves small, hidden. This is not a matter of blame. It is a story of biology learning in real time. You were learning how to feel safe. You were mapping the invisible. You were growing petals or thorns, depending on what the weather taught you was necessary. Emotional safety, or its absence, writes its fingerprints deep into the nervous system, sculpting not just how we remember, but what we remember, and even how we breathe. Literal air becomes colored by emotional patterning. Do you find it hard to fully exhale sometimes? That may not be about lungs, but memory. Let's slow even more now. Imagine a patch of earth that's never quite dried. Something always moist and listening. That's where these pre-verbal memories live. This is called implicit memory. Emotional memory that lives in the body and the subconscious without conscious recall. Unlike a story you can tell, implicit memory lives in scent, in tone, in bodily sensation. A smell that reminds you of somewhere, even if you can't quite place it. A smile that feels like someone you're afraid of. A quiet room that feels strangely loud. These are the ripples of your garden, the soft fingerprints of past moments echoing forward. They remind us, some feelings are older than we are. Often when people say, "I don't know why I reacted that way," they're not being irrational. They're being honest. The reaction doesn't live in the conscious mind. It lives beneath, rooted in a feeling that hadn't yet learned how to speak. A baby doesn't think. Someone is comforting me. The baby feels warm. The nervous system encodes experience through sensation. Cortisol from stress, oxytocin from connection, the familiar thud of a heartbeat next to your tiny head. The hypothalamus, the amygdala, and the hippocampus, parts of the limbic system, store these early fragments of experience as emotional tone, not sentences. It's less about what happened and more about how it felt. And this is the great secret that brings both peace and humility. Not all feelings are intellectual. Not everything you carry has a story you can name. But that doesn't make it less real. Sometimes you don't need to dissect the emotion, you just need to tend to it, like tending to a tender root breaking through the soil. The science of sleep tells us that in deep rest, especially in REM sleep, when dreams bloom like moonflowers, the emotional memory centers of the brain become activated. The gardener wanders through at night, watering old roots, reweaving memory, softening hard clay. This is part of how the brain processes emotion, not by planning it away, but by creating symbolic dreams, by stringing together sensory moments, and, most importantly, by giving emotional memories room to reshape themselves. Each dream is a compost heap of yesterday's feelings and the subconscious wisdom. Messy, fertile, weird and wonderful. Let your dreams be strange. Let the garden rearrange its leaves how it needs to. You were not overreacting. You were responding to the garden. You were not weak. You were weathered. If you've ever wondered why conflict feels overwhelming, or why silence feels so loud, or why love can feel uncertain, it may just be that your garden learned to bloom slightly differently. Wildflowers, shade-grown things, beautiful and adaptive. Your emotions make sense in the context of what you've lived, even if the conscious mind doesn't know the full story. That's the grace of the subconscious. It keeps you safe, even when you're not fully aware of how it's working on your behalf. Maybe you've heard people speak of reparenting, gently offering yourself the nurturing you may not have consistently received. In the language of the garden, this simply means planting new patterns, watering the soil, speaking kindly, reducing the storms where you can, The subconscious doesn't respond to lectures. It responds to repetition, softness, and feeling. When you light a candle before bed, speak lovingly to yourself, or slow your breath intentionally, you are silently reteaching your nervous system what peace feels like, and that you are allowed to feel it safely. This part of the brain, the old garden at the base of the mind, is always listening, always learning. It's never too late to change the weather. As this section begins to wind softly down, let this thought settle over you like a favorite blanket. If it feels bigger than it should, it might be older than I know. Sometimes the emotions we feel today have long roots in yesterday's garden. Not everything that feels present belongs entirely to the present. And that's okay. To heal is not to erase the past, but to gently teach the garden that new seasons can come, that not every cloudy day means a storm. You're allowed to feel emotions, even if you don't know why they're there. You're allowed to tend to yourself with poetry, with softness, with patience. You're allowed to grow new things. So now, as you feel your body soften further into the bed, and your breath become a little slower, know this: you are not broken. You are becoming. A garden grown from memory, learning to be softened by more loving weather. Let the pre-verbal mind rest now, the part of you that has been feeling for so long. Tell it, without words, that it's okay to stop bracing. There's no storm tonight. There is only the sound of your own steady breath. And the garden that never stopped hoping is listening. Good night for now. Let the next season begin while you sleep. Settle in, dear listener. The night is soft, and time has quietly loosened its grip. The world beyond your body has begun to blur at the edges, like mist dissolving into sky. Somewhere behind closed eyes, a different kind of seeing begins. Let us go there now, to the room behind the mirror. We often think we know ourselves. We look in a mirror and say, "That's me." But mirrors can only reflect what's visible. And you, beloved traveler of thought and feeling, are so much more than what light can touch. Behind the mirror, behind your conscious identity, your thoughts, your name, there is a hidden room. A quiet place filled with glimmers of emotion, old stories, protective structures, and shadows that never meant to scare you, only to shield. This is the realm of the subconscious self, the part of the mind that never needed a spotlight to survive. It worked by moonlight. It whispered its lessons in dreams and guarded its secrets in silence. In the room behind the mirror, the walls are written in the invisible ink of early experiences. Some sentences are missing. Some are written in the language of fear or shame or longing. Here, each thought casts a shadow, and these shadows belong not to the present moment, but to the moments that built you. They're not trying to deceive, they're trying to protect. But sometimes, protection looks like pulling the heart away before it ever gets a chance to rest. Let your breath deepen. Picture this room again, the one the mirror does not show. Imagine it warm, dimly lit, a sanctuary of the subconscious. Its furniture is made of memories, the shelves lined with beliefs, the floor, a patchwork of repetition. This is where your patterns live, not the conscious ones, the hidden ones. Like why you always flinch when someone raises their voice. Why compliments make you suspicious. Why silence sometimes screams louder than noise. Why love, perhaps, has always felt like work. These aren't flaws, these are echoes. They come from the part of the brain that recorded meaning without language, silently tracing connections between what happened and what it meant for you. Even if what happened made you feel unsafe, unnoticed, or small, that meaning doesn't live in your thinking mind. It lives deeper, in your implicit memory. Explicit memory is the story you can tell, I graduated that year. I lived in that town. That was the summer we moved. But implicit memory is different. It's feeling that returns without a narrative. It lives in the pattern, not the plot. A smell that makes you anxious, though you can't place it. A kind face you instinctively don't trust. A compliment that feels threatening instead of kind. These are the brushstrokes of implicit memory painting across the present moment, based not on what is happening, but on what once almost happened, or what never happened, even though it should have. The brain's emotional alarm system works through association, building a database of this felt dangerous once, and filing it away not as a detailed story, but as a neural shortcut, next time dark. So we flinch, we freeze, we shrink, and we don't always know why, but the subconscious knows. And sometimes it's still following instructions it wrote long ago. In the room behind the mirror, there's a quiet little stage. And standing on that stage, out of sight, are the core beliefs that live in your subconscious. Not beliefs you spoke out loud or even consciously chose, but ones your nervous system inherited and adapted to. Formed early, felt often. Beliefs like, I have to work hard to be loved. I bother people when I need things. It's not safe to trust. There must be something wrong with me. They're heavy, aren't they? And yet, they weren't born from weakness. They were created for survival. Some core beliefs formed not because they were explicitly taught, but because the nervous system had to make sense of inconsistency. When love arrives unreliably, the mind often blames the self, because blaming others is too risky for a child who depends on connection. The result? A belief that says, I must be the reason. These beliefs become backstage narrators, speaking between the lines of your life. I shouldn't ask too much. I'll get hurt if I get too vulnerable. I have to stay in control. But you are not your beliefs, and beliefs can evolve, especially when held with love, not judgment. Have you ever felt fine, and then not fine? Like a switch being flipped for no apparent reason. Your heart races, your throat tightens, you want to leave or hide. This, too, is often the subconscious, pulling a fire alarm based on memory, not logic. In truth, a trigger is simply something that reminds the brain of a time it felt unsafe. And because the amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm bell, doesn't think in stories or time, it doesn't care if the event happened 10 years ago or 1 minute ago. It just asks, have I seen this before? Did it hurt? It means well. It wants to protect you. But protection isn't always comfort. And not all triggers are truths. Sometimes they are echoes. And those echoes are old fears, hoping you'll listen, not to obey them, but to heal them. Let's take a gentler breath now. As you rest, you may begin to feel how many of your reactions, fears, or emotional habits don't really come from you now, but from you then. They're stories that were never told because they didn't have words at the time. The child self, the teenage self, the overwhelmed self, the grieving self, all still exist in the room behind the mirror. Not haunting you, not holding you back, just waiting for you to return and say, I see you now. I'm listening. We're safe here, and so the past doesn't have to keep performing in the present. Let's rest in silence for a moment, softly, like putting your hand into warm water. Your amygdala, deep in your limbic system, is devoted to emotional memory and threat detection. The hippocampus, nearby, organizes memory into time and place. But trauma, injustice, or chronic emotional uncertainty can interrupt that process. The hippocampus stops filing memories as past and instead lets them swirl untethered. So something that once hurt you feels like it is hurting you again, even when it isn't. The subconscious is pattern-seeking. If you were once hurt by dismissal, you may become hyper-aware of tone. If you once felt invisible, you may perceive absence in every silence. Again, not flaws. These are adaptations. And the incredible part is this. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change, allows you to build new subconscious patterns gently, through kindness, consistent evidence of safety, and compassionate reflection. You can soften the room behind the mirror. You can repaint the walls. You can light candles where fears once stood in corners. And above all, you are allowed to pause before reacting, to ask, whose voice is this really? Is this fear from now or from before? And to give yourself what the subconscious was always protecting: presence, permission, peace. Let's return now to stillness. Imagine you're sitting in that hidden room now. The light is warm. The walls are softer than you expected. There's a mirror beside you, but you no longer look for flaws. You look for familiarity, understanding. Your fears are in the room too, not monsters, not enemies, but signals. Each one says, I once thought I needed this fear to survive. I once bought this belief to feel less alone. I carried this pattern for years, hoping someone would see me through it. They were doing the best they could. And now, they can rest too. Because you are safely here. As this story draws softly toward stillness, try not to label what you've discovered with judgment. Let it settle in your chest like dusk settles over the sea, quietly, with no need to rush the night. Let this thought be the lullaby that follows you. There is a room inside me that remembers everything. And even so, I can choose which door to open next. There are beliefs in me that formed in fear. And even so, I can love the self who held them tight. There are patterns in me that once helped me survive. And even so, I am allowed to outgrow them. There are fears in me that echo from before. And even so, I am not those fears. I am the one softly listening to them now. Soon, sleep will come. The mirror will fade, and the room behind it will drift into the background. Lighter, quieter, just a little more at peace. You, beloved dreamer, have always been more than your reflection. And the truth is not hidden in the mirror. It's shining from behind it. Good night. Let the quiet speak now. You've heard enough. Let your body soften like the shore under gentle tide. Let your thoughts begin to float, untied from time, like driftwood. Somewhere between sleep and waking, between memory and imagination, there is a place the mind goes to tell its stories, not in sentences, but in shapes. Not with logic, but with symbols. This is the world of dreams. Welcome. Come with me now. We're going to step softly into the dream space, where the subconscious writes its poetry, in riddles, in symbols, in things that feel true even if they don't look real. Not everything here will make sense, but everything here belongs. Dreams speak in a strange tongue, don't they? A door that opens to your childhood kitchen, inside a moving train. A stranger with your father's voice, falling endlessly into the sky, or searching for something you forgot but needed so badly. And when you wake, it almost slips away. But something stays with you. A feeling, a question, a quiet ache, like a forgotten song. This is the beauty of your dreaming mind. It tries to speak when the waking world goes quiet. It releases what can't be said. It shows what was hidden. Through symbols it hopes you'll trust, even if you don't quite understand. Sleep is not just a rest from consciousness. It is the subconscious rising. Let's imagine the dreaming mind as a garden, but not the tidy kind. This garden is grown wild. Over years and years, vines of memory, petals of feeling, winds that whisper old names. Each night, just as the body surrenders to gravity, the brain begins its quiet bloom. The daylight networks fade, the ones focused on tasks, vigilance, identity, and something else takes over. The default mode network, a constellation of brain regions that light up when we rest, daydream, reflect, or sleep, becomes the midnight gardener. It rearranges the thoughts we didn't finish, the emotions we avoided, the questions we forgot to ask. Like a careful hand sorting through yesterday's driftwood, selecting what needs to be shaped, softened, reimagined. And then, in the deep whisper of REM sleep, the dream begins. During REM, rapid eye movement sleep, the brain's activity becomes almost as lively as when we're awake. But the way it functions changes. Logical centers, like the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning, judgment, and deliberate decision-making, go quiet. Meanwhile, emotional and associative centers light up, particularly the amygdala, which processes emotion, and the hippocampus, which helps store and organize memory. Without the filters of logic, the mind drifts unanchored, blending memory with metaphor, stitching yesterday to distant childhood, anxiety to architecture, grief to color. That's why dreams are so strange. But strange is not random. The mind, in its restful creativity, is trying to tell a truth too large or too soft to fit in words. Dreams are like moonlight on water, not direct, but reflective. They show us the shape of what we feel, rather than the form. What does it mean when you dream of losing your teeth, or wandering hallways forever, or flying just before you fall? Science can explain the mechanics of dreams, which networks fire, what phases of sleep they visit, how memories are consolidated through dreaming. But not every dream can be dissected. Nor should it. Dreams are often made of symbolic resonance, not literal content. The mind speaks in borrowed imagery, from movies, past lives, faces you've only glimpsed once, but held onto like thread. You might dream of oceans when you feel overwhelmed, of fire when anger is unexpressed, of an old friend returning when your soul needs someone familiar. Much like poetry, dreams make sense emotionally before they make sense intellectually. And much like the ocean, they rarely explain. They reflect. Now breathe in, gently, and let this truth settle in your chest. Dreaming is emotional alchemy. It's the process by which the brain metabolizes feeling. When you experience something altering, a breakup, a loss, a decision, a wound, the full weight of it doesn't disappear simply because the day is done. The subconscious picks it up and carries it into the dream space, like a deeply sensitive librarian cataloging books in the dark. Research shows that REM sleep helps us regulate emotional intensity. It allows us to remember without pain, turning sharp memories into softer ones. Like smoothing a jagged rock by tumbling it over ocean waves. We don't always resolve our feelings in dreams, but we do begin to rearrange them gently, subtly, without force. Dreaming is not just mysterious, it is merciful. Do you have a dream that returns again and again? It could be about running, about being chased, about trying to protect someone who never hears you, about places that were never real, but feel sacred somehow. Recurring dreams are the subconscious knocking softly, again and again, until we listen, not to scare us, but to say something is unspoken, something is unfinished. Let's try again tonight. It may not be trauma, it might be longing, or transition, or a decision you've postponed. Whatever it is, the mind keeps loosening its threads while you sleep, hoping that with each dream the knot unravels just a little more. We process not just with thought, but with time, with sleep, with symbolic safety. The subconscious often asks the same question repeatedly until it finds another answer. And each dream is one more possible answer, whispered softly into the dark. Dreams don't aim to be simple, they aim to be honest. And often, honesty is layered, like a spiral staircase leading not downward, but inward. Each step a little closer to some truth your waking mind has walked past too many times. You may have woken from a dream with wet cheeks and no memory of why. That's not foolishness, it's a release. You may have dreamed of an ex years gone and wondered, why now? Not because you want them back, but because some part of you is finally willing to let go what they represented. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between people and symbols of unmet needs. Sometimes, the face you dream of isn't the person at all. It's the part of you that longed to be held or seen. The deeper you go, the more gently the dream speaks, not in shouts, but in smoke trails. If we peek gently into the neuroscience again, not to explain, but to understand, we find that the brain, during sleep, acts much like a wandering bard or a midnight film director. It draws from the memory archives of the hippocampus, colors the scenes with emotional filters curated by the amygdala, and lets the visual cortex project it all in surreal flickers. Deprivation of REM sleep, science shows, interrupts this process. It can increase anxiety, dull empathy, heighten irritation. Because dreaming is not indulgence, it's regulation. We are not meant to outrun our feelings. We are meant to reimagine them in the safety of slumber. The idea of the dream world has always existed, in myth, in ritual, in spiritual practice. But now, neuroscience quietly agrees. Within REM sleep lies a sacred rearranging of the soul. So what does your dream mean? That confusing one. The one you kept thinking about during coffee the next morning. The one you tried to Google, dream about standing in water while holding a lamp. Here's something soft to fly with. Let dreams mean something, without forcing them to mean everything. Let them be emotional fossils, impressions of moments your spirit needed to reshape. Don't worry about decoding every symbol, just breathe into what it felt like. Did you feel small or powerful? Lost or luminous? Were you searching or finally resting? That is the message. Emotion, not explanation. Sometimes the mind just needs to feel itself feeling in order to be free. And now, it's enough. You don't need to interpret anything else tonight. There is no exam, no pressure to remember, no need to find meaning in every quiet image. The dream world waits, whether you understand it or not. You have done enough today. And soon, very soon, the brain will do the rest. The garden of the subconscious is ready. The gardeners have lit their lanterns. Tiny hands of memory begin to stitch and smooth. Old patterns loosen. New insights root beneath thought. And so you dream. If you wake and remember nothing, it's okay. Not all dreaming is meant to be remembered, but all dreaming is meaningful. So exhale now, lay down your armor, open your heart to the strange beauty of dreams. Let the symbols speak in their own wind-spun language. Don't chase them, don't name them, just trust them. Even in sleep, your mind is loving you back into wholeness. And in that sacred night language only your soul can understand, it whispers. You are healing. You are safe. We begin again. Good night, dreamer. We'll meet again. Somewhere. Where symbols drift like petals on water, and memories dance like smoke beneath the stars. Let the dream take you. Let your body rest now. You are in no hurry. There is nowhere else you need to be. The day is folding itself away, and every part of you is softening with it. As your breathing slows, you begin to feel something comforting beneath thought, a rhythm, a familiarity, an old song rising not from memory, but from motion. This is the work of the subconscious, not as mystery this time, but as repetition. Tonight, by the dim lamps of neuroscience and metaphor, we visit a quieter part of your inner world. The place where habit lives, where the mind memorizes motion, where loyal patterns curl around you like well-worn paths through an ancient forest. This is the gentle keeper of habits, and it has always been with you. Think of all the things your body does that you don't have to think about. You pour the tea without watching every movement. You spell your name without needing to recite it. You walk the stairs without counting the steps. Somewhere inside you, the routine has already been remembered. In fact, it never forgot. Your subconscious is a patient student, one who quietly records your repetitions and says, "Let me take care of that for you." This is how it shows love, by relieving you of extra weight, by automating the things your conscious mind once had to painstakingly learn. Even when life feels chaotic on the surface, there is a quiet predictability inside, a gentle keeper, always ready with the next familiar step. You learn to tie your shoes, and now your body remembers. You whispered a reassuring phrase during a hard time, and now your mind repeats it in similar storms. These patterns, like invisible shoelaces, keep the fabric of daily life from unraveling. Within the landscape of the brain is a trail system. Think of it like footpaths through a dense, ever-changing forest. At first, each step through tall grass is uncertain, but over time, repetition clears the way. Neurons, the tiny messengers of thought and behavior, fire together. And when they fire together often, they begin to wire together. This is not just a poetic saying. It's the actual architecture of habit. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Like rain-carving channels into stone, your repeated thoughts and motions sink pathways into the brain's physical structure. This process happens mostly in the basal ganglia, a small, deep cluster of structures that act as the mind's memory of movement and rhythm. It stores the steps of daily behavior, the motions of brushing your teeth, the rhythm of walking, even the motionless choreography of emotional reaction. The basal ganglia doesn't think in the way the prefrontal cortex does. It doesn't stop to question or analyze. It simply notices patterns and keeps them going. It follows the rules it thinks you've written, and it remembers them even when you wish it wouldn't. It's easy to feel frustrated by the things we do without meaning to. Sleeping too late, scrolling too long, speaking softly when we meant to be clear, doubting ourselves, apologizing too much, falling into the same thought loop again. But it is so human and so important to remember. What looks like sabotage often started as self-protection. The brain doesn't know if a habit is good or bad. It only knows if it's familiar. And what is familiar often feels safe. We repeat not because we're broken, but because part of us is doing what once helped us survive. Maybe you became hyper-independent because asking for help once led to disappointment. Maybe overworking helped numb the pain. Maybe staying quiet once felt safer than speaking up, and so the habit stayed, not as punishment, but as loyalty. The subconscious remembers what hurt, and it tries, in its quiet, automated way, to protect you from it. But what protected us once may restrict us now. At its core, the subconscious isn't ruled by language. It is ruled by pattern, and pattern lives in rhythm. Waking up at the same time every day, lighting a candle before journaling, taking 3 breaths before you speak in a hard moment. These little acts might seem small, but to the subconscious, they are holy. You're feeding it new music, new choreography. Habits can be rewritten not by force, but by ritual. The subconscious listens, and when you teach it kindness repeatedly, it begins to hum a new song. Even the smallest change, repeated gently, becomes a new tempo for your life. Sometimes what we call a habit is really an echo, a muscle memory of an old, unhealed story. You pause before asserting yourself. Maybe that habit began the first time you were told your voice was too much. You avoid rest. Maybe that started the day someone first praised your productivity more than your presence. There is a subtle, important difference between a true habit and a trauma response disguised as one. A habit says, "This is what I always do." A trauma response says, "This is what I had to do to feel safe." They can feel identical, but awareness creates space. Once you notice which is which, you don't have to rush to change them. You can just begin meeting them with curiosity. That's why I do that. You learned this because it helped once. That makes sense. The subconscious softens not under pressure, but under compassion. When you speak gently to it, it speaks back in silence. Through calm breath, steady focus, a new door softly opening. Now comes the secret that so many forget. The brain is always changing. Even now, as you lie quietly and listen, even now, as your mind slows down and your body surrenders to rest. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire, reshape, adapt, is not just for the young. It is always humming under the surface. When you repeat a new behavior, however small, however gentle, the subconscious begins to carve a new trail. At first, it's slow. The old path still feels more natural, but with kindness and time and sleep, the new way becomes easier. You can teach the mind that rest is not laziness. You can teach the body that pleasure is not a threat. You can teach your nervous system that slowness is not danger. One breath at a time, one morning stretch at a time, one unlearning, met with curiosity, not shame. The subconscious isn't quick, but it is faithful. When it feels hard to change, and it often does, you are not failing. You are likely trying to rewrite something that was written long ago and rehearsed for years. And to that effort, that unmetabolized longing, we must offer grace. In a world that shouts about hustle and discipline, you have permission to meet your patterns with gentleness. Say to your habit, "I see why you found your way here. You were trying to help. Maybe the way we help each other can change now." There's no need to tear anything down. The subconscious does not break under slow change. It bends. Patiently, like a tree leaning toward a softer sun. And now, as night deepens its color, notice the small rituals you've already made tonight. You set aside time to rest. You let the light dim. You chose to listen, not to noise, but to story, to language that soothes. These are not just sleepy actions. They are neural invitations. You are teaching the subconscious that bedtime is peaceful, not a fight, not a failure, but a return. Just as habits remember stress, they also remember calm. Each evening offers a rehearsal. Each breath is a line in a new script. Let this new rhythm enter your body now. A lullaby not of words, but of repetition. Even without effort, your brain is listening. And now, as your body melts a little deeper into softness, as your breath anchors you like a feather drawn toward still air, hear me when I say, your habits do not define you. They describe the weather of your past, but not the sky of your future. You are allowed to change, and you are allowed to stay the same, just a little longer, while you rest. Even your subconscious, loyal and rhythm-bound, is open to new dances, but it wants to be led gently. So lead it not with force, but with repetition, ritual, kindness. Be soft with yourself. Let the old habits soften into new ones, slowly, like snowmelt feeding a waking river. Tonight, they don't need to change. Tonight, they only need to rest. You, the dreamer, the changer, the repeated breath, you are already enough. Sleep now, gentle one. The keeper of habits is here, and it is learning, with every slow exhale, to follow your lead, inspired by the serene, poetic tone of the Sleepy Science Channel. This script is designed to calm, soothe, and gently educate listeners as they drift toward sleep, especially those with anxious, empathic, or finely tuned nervous systems. The night has grown quieter now. Even your thoughts seem softer, less like words, more like weather, drifting through you rather than from you. Everything around you slows, like breath in the dark, and what remains is not what's said aloud, but what lives underneath. What's felt, more than spoken. Tonight, we will travel into the space beneath language, into the whispers before words, where emotion enters not through meaning, but through music, through tone, through energy, through rhythm. This is the sound beneath the story. And your nervous system, dear listener, is already listening. Let yourself begin to sink, not downward, but inward, into stillness, into softness, into the listening part of your mind that never needed language to understand the world. Even before you could speak, you could feel tone. You didn't recognize sentences, but you felt safety, or tension, or warmth in a voice. You didn't know what love meant, but you knew the sound of it, the pace of it, the hush. That part of you didn't disappear. It just got quieter under all the words. But it's still there, right now, a part of your body that listens constantly for something few people ever mention. Not what's happening, but am I safe? As you move through the world, your mind is always scanning, but not just for danger in the traditional sense. It's scanning for signals, for tone, for gestures, for slowness or speed, for tension in the jaw of someone speaking to you, for background noise, for shifts in rhythm. And most of all, your nervous system is listening for cues of safety or unsafety. This scanning happens thousands of times a day, and most of it happens without your awareness. That's because it's governed primarily by the subconscious brain, especially a structure called the amygdala, the brain's early warning system, emotional radar, and quiet gatekeeper of vigilance. The amygdala asks, is this safe based on what I felt before? If the answer is yes, peace is possible. If the answer is maybe, the body will keep one foot on the gas, just in case. That's not paranoia. That's biology. And if you've ever wondered why you feel so alert in normal situations, why you notice too much, or why sudden sounds catch in your chest, this section is for you. You are not being too much. You are not overreacting. You are simply highly attuned, like a string on an instrument that catches the vibration of feeling before it reaches the conscious world. Imagine two people saying the same words. I'm fine. Spoken gently, it soothes. Spoken coldly, it tightens something in your chest. Same words, different world. The difference is tone, what scientists and psychologists might call prosody. Prosody is the musical aspect of language, the pitch, rhythm, pace, and feeling behind our words. It's not what is said, but how. And your subconscious is exquisitely gifted at detecting it. This skill doesn't live in logic. It lives in the limbic system, especially parts of the brain that evolved to help mammals co-regulate with each other through vocal tone. It's an ancient art we still use every day without realizing it. And your nervous system, especially if you've experienced uncertainty or emotional inconsistency, may have learned to become exceptionally skilled at reading the fine print of voice. You might know when someone's upset even before they do. You might read between the lines before any of them are spoken. This isn't psychic, it's perception. And it's automatic. Now let's meet one of the body's most poetic systems, the vagus nerve. It sounds like stars or fog, but is, in fact, biological. This great wandering nerve, vagus means wandering, travels from the brainstem down through the chest, throat, lungs, heart, and into the belly. In its wake, it connects our emotions to our breath, our voice, our digestion, and our heartbeat. It is a major highway through which signals of calm or alarm are sent. When you feel safe, truly safe, the parasympathetic branch of the vagus switches on. This is called the ventral vagal state, and it brings stillness, connection, ease. Your breath deepens, heart rate slows, digestion returns. You can engage, smile, rest, sleep. This is what makes safety felt, not just decided. If the body detects threat, even subtle, even subconscious, it turns off those systems in favor of survival. This explains so much: why you couldn't focus when a room felt off, why you couldn't sleep even though nothing major was wrong, why you felt overwhelmed in situations others found normal. Your nervous system is perception-driven, and perception is guided by stories too subtle for speech, like the way your body scans someone's face for tension, or how hands clenching on a steering wheel make you uneasy, or how silence can sometimes scream louder than sound. Many people ask, why do I feel anxious when I'm not even stressed? But here is the truth. Safety isn't mental, it's physiological. Your logical mind can say, I'm okay. But your body only softens when the deeper parts of your brain believe that's true. This is the concept of felt safety. It's the moment the subconscious, the amygdala, the vagus nerve, the lungs and the heart all finally nod at one another and agree, yes, peace now. And often what creates that sensation is not logic at all, but hidden signals. The softness of someone's eyes, the way your dog exhales when you pet them, the rhythm in your favorite song, expanded time, familiar scent, warm light, a quiet voice. These are not luxuries, they are neurobiological ingredients of calm. And understanding this gives us great compassion. What doesn't calm one person might soothe another completely. Because safety isn't one thing, it is a tapestry. And we each have our own threads. If you've ever been told you're too sensitive or just relax, you might carry a quiet shame about how deeply you feel your environment. Let this idea rest in your chest like a warm hand. You are not too sensitive. You are just someone whose nervous system learned to listen carefully because you needed to. Perhaps you grew up navigating tension by tone, learning to predict mood by breath or pause. Perhaps chaos taught you to become a map maker of micro-expressions. Perhaps you became a translator of vibrations because words came too late. This isn't drama, it's design. The intricate weaving of a body that learned to survive by listening deeply. And now, as you begin to soften, your nervous system is learning something new. You don't have to hyper-listen anymore. You don't have to scan constantly. You can ease into the simpler song beneath it all. Let it begin now. There's a moment, maybe you've felt it, when you're near someone calm and your body just exhales. Nothing was said. No advice was given. They didn't fix you. But something settled. This is co-regulation, when one nervous system helps another downshift into peace. It's not magic. It's mammalian biology. The presence of calm in another offers safety cues so powerful that your brain begins to attune, syncing heart rate, facial muscles, even brain waves. This is why kind eyes matter, why gentle tone helps, why a phone call with the right person can undo hours of tension. It's fine-tuned transmission, nervous system to nervous system, like two tuning forks humming into harmony. And it means you don't have to do calm alone. Humans, by nature, are regulating creatures. We are born wired to feel safe together. As you rest here now, you're sending messages back through your own system, that your bed is familiar, that your breath is slow, that nothing urgent is being asked of you. Every deep sigh is a signal. Every relaxed jaw a letter to the limbic system that says, no need to rush. No threat here. You're not just a mind going to sleep. You are a tuning fork returning to a quieter frequency. A part of you may still hold a little tension. That's okay. It takes time for cells to believe what stories only just began to change. Stay with the softness. It's enough tonight. And now, as the last stories of the day dissolve into quiet, let these truths echo softly in your resting mind. Your nervous system is not defective. It is attentive. What feels like too much is often just unspoken history being remembered all at once. When the body ignites, it's not seeking attention. It's seeking reassurance. You are allowed to feel safe. Even before everything is fixed, the subconscious listens even now, especially now. Sleep will arrive in time, not as command, but as music. Your heart knows this song. The sound beneath the story is playing, faint, slow, unbroken. And you, dear listener, are already beginning to remember the rhythm. Good night. You may listen. You may soften. You may rest now. This is the final lullaby in your journey through the subconscious, written in a tone of radical softness, mystery, and deep acceptance. Designed to be played as the listener drifts into sleep, it touches on Jungian thought, archetypes, and collective memory without ever becoming clinical, only compassionate, slow, and soul-soothing. Close your eyes now, or let them simply soften where they are. There is nothing to do. No insight you must grasp. No part of yourself you must fix before resting. This is the part of the journey where everything is already enough. You have walked through memory, through symbol, through rhythm and reaction, through stories your body has carried and whispered to you in sleep. Now, we drift toward the deepest place of all, the inner ocean, the unconscious, the part of you that holds everything, even the parts you thought didn't belong. Can you feel your breath already slowing? Let's go there now. The water is quiet, and you are already floating beneath the rushing rivers of thought, beneath the echoing patterns of emotion. There is still something deeper. Not a void, not a silence, but a fullness. A wide, dark sea, holding every wave that has ever passed through you. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychoanalyst and deep soul listener of the human mind, gave this place a name. He called it the collective unconscious. But you don't have to memorize the term. Just imagine standing at the edge of a black shoreline beneath the stars, and knowing somewhere in that water are pieces of you. Ageless, dreamlike, archetypal, the unconscious is like an ocean. We spend our waking lives skipping stones across its surface, but beneath, air currents that remember everything. Jung believed that within all of us lies not just one singular identity, but a gathering of inner characters. There are the selves we show, the selves we hide, the wounded ones, the dreaming ones, the child selves, the God wishes, the fears in symbolic form. He believed in archetypes, universal patterns buried deep within the collective human experience. The caregiver, the trickster, the wise old spirit, the warrior, the child, the orphan, the queen, the wanderer, and each of these lives somewhere in you, not because you are fragmented, but because you are a story too rich for a single role. And among these inner parts, Jung spoke softly, almost reverently, of the shadow. Not a flaw, not evil, just the uncounted, the unseen. The parts of us that were not given sunlight, the part that longs for control, the part that envies, the part that still grieves unspoken, the voice in the dream who says daring things and walks away. These shadows are not here to destroy us. They are teachers. They are instincts with masks. And the ocean holds them too. So much of life tells us to be consistent, to explain ourselves, to package the self into a single line, a single label, a perfect face. But you are made of contradictions. You can be brave and terrified, loving and afraid to let others in, graceful and clumsy, soft and strong, feeling old and new all at once. This ocean inside you doesn't ask for order. It doesn't judge. Imagine the deep sea. There is no sunlight there. Only bioluminescent creatures glowing from their own nature, without explanation. Your psyche, your unconscious, your soul, whatever name you give it, is filled with glow like this, and it makes room for all your complexity, even the parts you haven't met yet, especially those. Do you remember what we said about dreams? That they don't always follow the maps of the mind, that they rise instead like sea foam, bringing strange gifts from deep vaults. This is how the unconscious reaches us. Through dreams, through moments of déjà vu, through symbols that haunt us softly, through slips of the tongue, through characters in stories we strangely recognize, through creativity that comes from somewhere else. Each of these is an inner message in disguise. Not every symbol needs interpretation, but they do deserve reverence. A fear in a dream might be the shadow knocking. A recurring image might be an archetype rattling the door. But even if you never know why you dream of owls, of flooded houses, of falling into the sky, you feel them, as if they know something you haven't yet said aloud. That is the unconscious doing its quiet work, watering the soul, bringing you back to wholeness, one slow ripple at a time. Let this be your radical permission tonight. You do not have to make sense, not to anyone, not even to the part of you that seeks to tidy every shelf of the psyche. Some nights, you may feel 5 different emotions all at once. Some part of you wants to cry, and another part says, why? Some part of you wants to reach out, another wants to disappear. The unconscious doesn't speak in paragraphs, it speaks in weather, and just like the ocean, it can be calm above and wildly stirring beneath, and still be whole. You are allowed to carry layers. You are allowed to contradict yourself. You are even allowed to not know what you feel. Some things are still rising from the depths. Trust that they will reach you when you are ready, and not a moment before. Healing is not becoming perfect. It's becoming whole. It's letting the orphaned parts of you come inside. It's letting tenderness exist in the same house as rage. It's letting fear be comforted by the warrior within. It's realizing you're not broken. You're a cathedral of countless voices, and none of them are a mistake. Jung called this wholeness process individuation. Not becoming someone else, but becoming more yourself by allowing all of you to be seen. Not every part needs the microphone, but every part deserves a name, a place, a breath. Like waves, returning to the one sea. You may not always feel healed, but you are always healing, just by being gentle with what arises. And tonight, even in sleep, that process continues. The unconscious is slow. It moves in rhythms older than culture, older than memory. It does not rush your healing. It does not measure your growth in metrics or milestones. It stirs, it simmers, it hides gifts in the silt and waits for you to uncover them, not by striving, but by surrendering. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means leaning in, letting life and sleep carry you. You don't have to understand all that you feel or all that you are. You only have to listen, and even when you don't, the unconscious listens for you. Everything you've heard tonight, the dreams, the habits, the tones, the shadows, they're not just personal. Jung believed that we each draw from something vaster, the collective unconscious, the human ocean. It's why myths repeat across cultures, why we dream the same animals, why a story in a language we don't speak can still make us weep, because it touches the symbol within. All of us carry the water. In every heart is a drop of everyone. And to know yourself deeply is to remember you belong, not just to your family or your city or this century, but to a soul network woven through every whisper of human time. The great mother, the lost child, the wounded healer, the eternal fall. You have been them all, and they live in you still. And now, as your breath slows into its most natural rhythm, gentle as tide water lapping the shore, let the last light fall away. The ocean behind your thoughts knows how to cradle you. You don't need to hold everything tonight. Let the depths hold you. You do not need to fix or rise or reach. You are already whole. Even in your unfinishedness, even in your questions, even in your shadows. The unconscious does not wait for you to be perfect. It only waits for you to listen. And tonight, you have. Tonight, without even trying, you've given a name to comfort, to mystery, to memory, to the deep water of being. And now you can rest. Drift now, like a fallen feather into living sea. Let go of needing to decode anything. Let go of needing to describe anything. Feel the ocean of you beneath the world of you. You are more than a thinker, you are a tide. And all the parts of you, even the quietest currents, are still here, still holding, still home. Trust that. Let the last wave come. Let the mind go wide. Let your soul slip beneath the surface. The ocean is never far. It was you, all along. As this sleep story comes to a close, let yourself feel how deep yourself really goes. Beneath the shouting thoughts, beneath the expectations and the pressures, you are a quiet world of memory, feeling and gentle patterning. You are not just your surface pain. You are not only your anxieties or overthinking. You are also the dreamer, the silent observer, the self that never needed to be impressive to be worthy. Tonight, as your body settles into rest, know that the subconscious is still lovingly at work, sifting, healing, whispering stories into dreams, connecting old moments into hopeful meanings. You are allowed to rest. You are safe to soften. Nothing is being asked of you here. Sleep is not the end of consciousness. It's the place where the rest of you begins. Let yourself drift now into the whispering sea, into the old dream tree of memory, into the quiet home of your felt sense. You are still whole. You are still becoming. And somewhere inside, you always knew the way. And if this journey spoke to some quiet part of you, if you felt less alone in your thoughts, or more tender with your own inner world, I invite you to stay close. Subscribe to this space, not for noise, but for more of this kind of stillness. More science wrapped in soul. More stories designed not just to teach, but to soothe. And if you know someone who struggles to sleep with a restless mind or carries feelings they don't yet have words for, send this their way, like a lighthouse or a lullaby. Leave a comment if something resonated, or just place a little candle emoji to let others know they're not drifting alone in the dark. Until next time, may your sleep be deep, your dreams be kind, and your inner ocean always feel like home. Thanks for watching. Good night.